the one, the only, Ben Sion.
Good afternoon and welcome to Yeshiva YouTube. Just Daf It. Today we're doing Maseches Gittin Daf Ted Vav, number 15. We're finishing the first parak today. All right, let's start from the bottom of Yadal and Beis. About 5 lines from the bottom. The Gemara says, "Lo, but Bari the Kol Yamalo Pligi." The Gemara was trying, and brought a brisa, trying to show there's different opinions about when you say Holech, say take this money, Kizachidam. Is it like automatically the person that you're taking the money for, usually a present, he's zocha automatically or not? Do you mean to give the person the right when you say holech or not? So the Gemara really says no. Everyone agrees holech is not kazaki. I mean, at least by a person who gives a present when he's a bari, when he's healthy. This Bryce is talking about a person who's on his deathbed. They're arguing all these Tanaim. There are 5 or 6 Tanaim stated in the Bryce. So they're arguing about one machlok. Yes, Malchus Relezer on the Rabbanon. This not a machalik nechasav al piv. Mishnah, I believe in Baba Basra, it says someone he's before he dies, he's distributing his possessions through verbally. Whether he's healthy or he's on his deathbed. Property that has achrayas, property that is like real estate, it's attached to the ground, that you can track it, right? That's what real estate is. You can track it, it doesn't go anywhere. So, like it says in Mizachas Kiddush, the only way you're acquiring that is through kesef shtar and chazaka, either giving money or a shtar, mechira, or a chazaka, or doing some building on the land. Things that are movable objects, even if you're a shchimera, even if you're a dead person, you're on your deathbed, the only way that it changes ownership if the person actually, if it's a movable object, he has to actually do mashiach, he has to pull it. The Chacham arguing if he's a shchimera, at least, obviously he's a party, they disagree, but if he's a shchimera, both real estate and movable objects, they're nicknamed through the Amira, the verbal declaration. Right? This is the famous dictum of Chazal. Amrulo, so in the Machlokes, Rabbanan said to Lezer, there were the children of Rochel. Now Rochel, according to the article, some family or something like that, I would say Rochel, it was a woman who was slanderous. She was a woman involved in gossip. She was sick. He said, give my brooch, the pin she had on her blazer or her dress, to give my daughter. It was worth $12,000, let's say. It was made of gold and diamonds. Umesa. Now, she had other sons. The sons inherit the mother, right? So the daughter does not inherit. But she said, give it to my daughter. The Chum listened to her, even though she only verbally said it. The daughter did not do Mashiach in her lifetime, unless they gave it to the daughter. So you see, verbally works. Amar Lahem, back to Bnei Rochel, you can't bring a proof from children of Rochel, because, right, she was not following halacha. She was engaged in rechilos, gossip monging. She gossiped too much. So the children should be buried in the lifetime with their mother. Basically, you can't learn from a family of Rishayim. So the Gemara says, Tanakama, so let's explain the Brisa. Tanakama who says, right, the case was, a person says, give this $100 to someone, take it to an agent, give it to this person. Tanakama Kerbelezer. Tanakama holds like Kerbelezer, that it goes back and he can't find the person. Maybe he died. And then he died at one point. So according to Tanakama, it goes back to the sender, like Kerbelezer, because holy is not, because we're talking about a shchivmera person, and basically by saying it has no effect. Rav Nasan Yaakov Nami Kerbelezer, he also like Kerbelezer. Avagav the miss lo amriya mitzvah l'kayim d'rameis, and they add in, even though the person died, right? When they try to go back to the sender, he's dead. He says, go give it to his yarship. Because even though there's an additional aspect, not just because of divrei shchimra kichsuv and damut, but there's a mitzvah l'kayim d'rameis. He's supposed to Midaraisa or Midarabana, listen to what the mace says. So therefore, technically, it doesn't belong to them, but to the person who was sent to. But you're supposed to give it to them. You're supposed to listen to what the mace says to honor the dead person. Nonetheless, Nasr and Yaakov don't subscribe to that. The Yesh Omrim say you give it to the family or you give it to the person who was sent to. Karabana, hold like the Rabbana, that verbally works. Rabbi Yehuda Nasi Sha'ar Rishum Remeir, he also holds Karav Elazar. Miyohecha the miss, when he died, before he died, it said you don't give it back to his Yarsham. You still give it to the family of the person who was sent to because he wasn't listening, covered on mace, listen to the dead person. The Chacham say you split the money between the sender and the sendee. They're unsure what the halacha is. The Kana Amru, here in Bavel, they said Shuda, that it's better if you're unsure to split the to basically the agent decides who should get the money. Reb Shimon Nasi Maisa Asal Shina, Reb Shimon adds off that it was true there was an Maisa and they passed him like the second opinion, Reb Nasa and Reb Yaakov. Ibailu, Reb Shimon Nasi who? Was Reb Shimon Hanasi, was he actually a president of Israel? Oh, Mishmei the Nasi Ka'amar. Or just, it means it was Reb Shimon Bar Yochai, let's say. He said the name of the Nasi. Tashma, the Amr of Yosef, Allah Reb Shimon Nasi. Yosef is Allah Reb Shimon Nasi, like Reb Shimon Nasi. So the Gemara says, Vadainti Bach, it's still a question. Nasi who? Was Reb Shimon actually a Nasi? Oh, the Kamar Mishmei the Nasi. Or he was just speaking in the name of the Nasi. Take the Gemara says we can't resolve that. Gufa, Amr of Yosef, Allah Reb Shimon Nasi. Allah follows Reb Shimon Nasi, which basically says you follow like Rab Nassan and Reb Yaakov. Basically, it goes back to the Mishaleach, the sender, or his family. But we pass like the Rabbanan. You're saying this Brisa is talking about Shchivim, so it should go to the person it's sent to. Rav Yosef Muki Lava Bari. Rav Yosef says this Brisa, he's talking about a Bari. We're deflected the proof, right? According to Rav Yosef, you have to say there's an opinion that it's a whole that it's a Gezachi dummy. But Rav Yosef says it's talking about a Bari, a healthy person giving him a matana. And therefore, it's not a question. So where it persists, Reb Shimon Hanasi said that the Maisa happened, the incident happened, they gave it back to the Yorshim and the Mishaleach. Right? So if it's a Bari, even though he's a Bari, you're supposed to listen to the dead person, respect the dead person. It should go to the person who was sent to or his family. So the Gemara says, Tani Yachzrul the Mishaleach. You have to switch the words. Or Shimon Nasi, he didn't say give it back to the family. Give it back to Mishaleach because he didn't die. So there's no mitzvah l'kaim de rames. Hadron lachamei vikama. We've did it. We've done it. We finished the first paragraph. Daf It Gittin. Let's start the second paragraph. Hamevi get Medina Sayam. You bring a get from Medina Sayam. Amar Fani Nechta. Avalo Fani Nechta. He says it was written in front of me, but it wasn't signed in front of me. B'fani nechta, I said it was signed in front of me. But b'fani nechta wasn't written in front of me. I can't testify it was written in front of me. B'fani nechta of kulo, b'fani nechta mchetzio. Or it was entirely written in front of me, but half of it was signed in front of me. There's two signatures. One signature I witnessed, the other I didn't witness. B'fani nechta mchetzio. Or part of it was written in, we'll discuss which part of the get was written in his presence. B'fani nechta kulo. And both signatures were in my presence. Puzzle. All these cases is puzzle. Echad Omer b'fani nechta, Echad Omer b'fani nechta, puzzle. If one person says b'fani nechta, another person witnessed the chasima as a signature, it's puzzle. Because this is the way Chazal instituted. The Chazal instituted, it has to be the same person saying b'fani nechta, that he saw the entire thing being written and signed. Shnayim Omrim b'faneinu nechta. If two people say it was written in front of us, Echad Omer b'fani nechta, and one person says it was signed in front of Possible. That's possible. Like I explained before, you need one person to say both. Rabbi Yehuda Machshir, for some reason, Rabbi Yehuda's Machshir. Echad Omer b'fani nechtav, even stranger halacha. If one person says b'fani nechtav, v'shnayim Omer b'faneinu nechtav, two people testify the signatures, two other people, there's three people here. Kasher. According to everybody, it's kasher. This is even more perplexing. We'll have to deal with that. The Gemara is going to explain these lines later on, I believe, on Daf Yud Zayin. The Gemara says, Hasu lamali. Why? This whole Mishnah is extraneous, right? The first Mishnah says, because it has to be precise what you're doing. Here it brings all the cases where there was some sort of lacking. So obviously it's possible. We learned that's how you open the Masechta. Whereas if it was from the first Mishnah, Hava Amina Sarich. L'chadchila, you're supposed to do this. V'i lo Amar. If he didn't say V'aniyatam kosher, the David would be kosher. Kamash Malan, it's puzzle. Kamash Malan, it's puzzle. It's completely puzzle. Now, it seems from this Mish from the Gemara over here that even if we paskin like Rava, the problem of finding nothing is because Ein Edom Mitsuyin Lakam. We need Kiyam Shtaros, just like by Dinim Mamonis, you need Kiyam Shtaros. So you need Kiyam Shtaros, and you don't have Kiyam Shtaros because he didn't say finding nothing. What about if Edom come later on and they testify their signatures? It sounds like from the Mishnah it's puzzle in all circumstances. Right? This person didn't do it right. He saw part of it. He saw the ksiva, but didn't see the chasima, or vice versa, or he saw part of one and the whole of the other. It's puzzle, right? It's puzzle, even if Adam come and verify the signatures afterwards. But why not? According to Rava, if it's all about verifying the signatures, so why can't other people do it? Just like by Dinei Mamonis, if you have two other people to verify the signatures, it's okay. Why over here, if this guy does not say, he brings from Dinei Sayyami, it's puzzle in all cases. This seems to be the halacha. I'm going to have to explain this in Ian of this here. You're not going to want to miss Ian of this here. It's really fundamental to the beginning of these two prakim, Daf It Gittin, this whole din of about Kiyam Shtaros, about Dinei Mamonis. It's really important that you hear this Ian of this really fundamental share. The Gemara says, kulo. One of the lines of the Mishnah, half of it was right in front of me. And it was entirely signed in front of me. Both Adam signed in front of me. It's possible. Hi Chetzia. Which half? Rishon. I witnessed the first half of the document. If you look, Eliezer says, if you watch the first line being written Lishma and saw that, when the first line is the most important line in the get, where it says the name of the man, the name of the woman, the name of their city, and the name and the Zman. Those are the four things that are crucial to the validity of a get. That's kosher. So why does he do the second part? El Amar Ravashi Chetzio Achar. The Mishnah means he says that he saw the second half. If you said I saw the first half, that would be okay. Fani Nachtav Kulo, Fani Nachtam Chetzio Apostle. So in the next case is he saw the entire writing, but he saw only one signature. Amar Rav Chisda Afilu Shnayim Meidim Al Chasimas Yad Sheni Puzzle. Chisda says a big chiddush. Even if he says I only saw one signature. There's two other Edim, two other people. He's Reuven. And Shimon and Levi come and they testify the second signature. It's still possible. My time. Okulo bekima get okulo b'dakana sakamim. Either you do it kiyum haget. Now I'll explain what article says over here. They say kiyum haget is like kiyum shtaros ba'alma, right? Kiyum shtaros ba'alma is you have other witnesses who verify, the signatures. Without, him saying that he saw one chasima, Normally, kiyum shtaros is two edim on one signature, two edim on the other signature. Here, he's not doing exactly like kiyum shtaros. Kulo b'takanas hachamim, or entirely takanas hachamim, which is basically takanas hachamim means what we're talking about in our Gemara, where takanas hachamim is the halacha of the agent who brings the get to say fani nechtam. He's not doing it in entirety. He's relying on other people for the other two Edom. I have a different shot, exactly the opposite shot. I'll tell you in Iyad Ben Sion and help you explain the answer to the question I just left off before. Rava asked a question on Ruchista. Mika midi dilamar chad kasher hashadika trey puzzle. Right? If one person would say it would be kosher, this person who only saw one signature, and two people is worse. El Amarava Afilu must be the case of the Mishnah. It's not such a big chiddush. Afilu who ve'echad me'idin al chasimus yad sheni puzzle. If he says I saw one signature and he says I saw another signature but with another person, it's puzzle. My time. The Rabbanan goes there. Asul achlufi b'kiyam shtaros da'alma. V'kanafik nechi riva d'mamona apumba dechad sa'ad. Normally, kiyum shtaros, but Dinei Mamonis, you have to have two Edim verifying each of the signatures. It could be the same two Edim that verify both signatures. But here, if this were the case over here, that one person is verifying one signature and two people are verifying the other signature, that means there's only one verification on one of the signatures. That means 3/4 of the money is being accounted. Meaning, if we transfer it to a case of money, right, 3/4 of the money is verified in the right way, but 1/4 is not. And yes, this is a get where it doesn't make a difference, but when it comes to money, it would make a difference. So therefore, it goes over here. We say it's not good. Rashi had a problem with Rava's explanation. If he would have just said it by himself, right? If he didn't testify by the second signature with the other aid, he just said, I saw both signatures without the other aid corroborating what he says. And now because another person joins him, it's possible. He says, I saw one signature and I am the second signature. That's possible. My time. Okula b'kima get okula b'takanas chacham. Like Rav Chisda said, you're relying on two different mechanisms over here, right? On one signature, you're relying on the takanas chacham of finding nechtam, and on the second thing, he's verifying his own signature, which is good. Kiyum shtar, you can verify your own signature. You don't need two people. One person can verify his own signature, but that's part of kiyum shtaros. So you can't mix and match when takanas chachamim. Tanan. So now there's a question on Rav Chisda. We learned in the Mishnah, finding nechtam kulo, but finding nechtam chetzio. Right, this was the case. The entire get was written in front of him, but it was only half of it was signed. Only one signature was in front of him. It's possible. Either chetzia heichidami. What happened to the other signature? If there's no one verifying the second signature, the Mishnah mentions a case. One person says, I saw the entirety of his writing, and one person saw, I saw both signatures. In that case, the Mishnah says possible. Right? Of course, right? Where one person testifies about the writing, and one person testifies about one of the signatures, right? Even if he testifies about both signatures, it's possible. Why do you need the Mishnah to say that? It must be that the case is chetzio is a chiddush. But when you say a chiddush, you have to say the least possible, or one of the lesser types of chiddush. Rav Chisda is the biggest chiddush. Rav Chisda says that even if you have two other edim on the second signature, it's possible. That makes a lot of sense. It should be kosher. Rav Chisda says it's possible. So we're not going to say it's such a big chiddush. We'll say either like Rav Ashi or like Rava. It wouldn't be like Rav Chisda. Rav Chisda would answer you, right? Why does the Mishnah open up and says it was written in front of me, but it wasn't signed in front of me? Where there's no mentioning, there's no verification at all of the chasima, right? That's obvious. And then it goes on to tell you more cases where it's a chiddush that it doesn't work. Just like the beginning of the Mishnah starts off with the structure of, I'll tell you, right, the obvious halacha, and then I'll tell you a bigger chiddush, a more novel chiddush, right? So that's the structure of the Mishnah. So therefore, it starts off telling you something which is kind of obvious, and then it tells you, right, the novel point after that. That's a structure sometimes in the Mishnah. The Mishnah sometimes will unnecessarily tell you the halacha just to get in to talk about it, and then it will tell you the novel chiddush. So here also, it could be that it's a novel chiddush like Rav Chisda, right? And it works in that strategy. It tells me, right, one case which is obvious, and then it goes and tells me the case which is a chiddush, which could have been like Rav Chisda. Let's continue a little bit. I'm Rav Chisda. We're going to get into halachas which are not 100% related to Daf It Gittin, but they're related to this concept of relying on part one way, part another. When it comes to a Rosh HaYachid, a Mehilchah Shabbos, to make Rosh HaYachid, you need a wall of 10 tefachim. A wall of 10 tefachim, at least 3 walls of 10 tefachim, makes something Rosh HaYachid. Let's say one of the walls was made out of dirt, an embankment you dug up some dirt from a pit. And then you make a partition, let's say out of wood on top of it, 5 tefachim of both. Aim it starving. Rav Chisda says they don't join together. They don't make a wall for Rosh HaYachid. Actually, unless you have entire mechitza made out of wood or made out of dirt. Darsh Maremar said, Gidul Chamisha mechitza Chamisha mitzarfin. He says they do mitzarf to make Rosh HaYachid a wall of Rosh HaYachid. Hilchasa mitzarfin. The halacha is they do join together. We're going to stop over here. The next line in the Gemara is a question about Netilas Yadayim, and it's a long discussion, so I'll stop here. Stay tuned for Iyad Ben Sion when I talk about this concept of finding Nechta. I'm going to tell you a huge chiddush about Rava, about Kim Shtaros, right? That's the reason you need to say finding Nechta. You're not going to want to miss this. This is fundamental to all people who learn in yeshivas, Maseches Gittin. There's probably a chiddush no one ever said before, and it is probably the most truthful chiddush I ever hear. I hope you enjoyed this year, and I'll see you in Yad Ben Sion coming up next.